Hi everyone.
Halo semuanya, selamat datang di sesi keempat di hari kedua di PyCon Indonesia 2021 ini. Perkenalkan, nama saya Melinda selaku moderator kita hari ini. Nah, hari ini kita ada kedatangan pembicara yaitu Kak Rayhan Dwi Ananda. Halo Kak, gimana kabarnya hari ini?
Sehat, sehat selalu.
Oke, saat ini Kak Rayhan bekerja sebagai seorang software quality insurance di Julo.
Tepat. Ya, benar. Semacam itu.
Oke, and then kali ini Kak Rayhan akan membawakan talks dengan judul Improving Test Automation dengan PageObject Pattern-nya, Kak.
Tepat. Ya.
Oke. Apakah Kak Rayhan sudah siap untuk membawakan topik kita hari ini, Kak?
Ya, siap.
Oke. And then the
Seharusnya sudah
stage
siap.
is yours ya, Kak. Silakan.
Okay. Actually, for this session, I'm going to talk in English. So yeah. So hi everyone. So in this session, I will be the one who going to talk about this. So this talk is about the improving test automation with page object pattern. So I guess we can just start by doing introduction. I guess we can just move to this one into the next slide. All right. So this is me. And yeah, so hello, my name is Rayhan Dwi Ananda. I work at Julo as a software quality assurance engineer. And yeah, I guess that's all. That's the introduction. I don't have anything to say anymore. So that's my picture actually. We put my picture. Actually, some of them might confuse the picture. It's kind of different with the current me. Actually, I was trying to make my look like Tony Stark, but apparently it failed. So, and I kind of lazy to trim and I kind of lazy to cut my hair. So this is me anyway. So yeah, but rest assured, the picture and the real, the one in right now talking actually is the same person. So you don't have to worry. And I think before start, actually, I want to say thank you to the organizer and also the people who behind the scene. Because of you guys, I can have a chance to talk like this in the public. So yeah, it might be a good experience for me. This is my first time, and if I mess things up, so please forgive me. So yeah, thank you guys. And now I'm going to continue. We're going to start actually. Start. Yeah. So what I'm going to talk about. So in this session, actually, I want to show you guys how to implement the page object in your current UI automation. So the one that I'm going to show you, there are like three things. The first thing is the test scenario, which is I'm doing it manual test, and the second one is the automated version of the manual test, and the third one is the automated test that already implement the page object. And why I'm telling you guys about this actually. So usually when you try to create a UI automation, sometimes it's not really that tough task, or maybe it's not really that hard task, right? Because you can just try to locate your element, or try to mess around with the element like doing a click, or maybe try to do inputs and get some kind of value, something like that. But along with the time, usually people going to more contribute, and the test suite will become bigger, right? And with this, we might have some kind of several question like, do this test suite will be maintainable? Do this test suite going to be easy to read, or maybe easy to write? And is it going to be any kind of code duplication, right? So in this kind of question, actually, there is kind of approach to solve this kind of question, which is we are going to use this kind of page object. And probably when I try to show you guys the slide, some of you might already know about the page object, but maybe some of you haven't know about the page object and you kind of curious. So basically, what is the page object pattern is? So basically, it's just like a design pattern that usually been used in UI automation testing, and basically it's just like encapsulate the mechanics of the target UI and separate them with the test flow. And the purpose of this actually just make the test suite more easier to maintain, can be read and written clearly, and to reduce the code duplication. And the code duplication actually in the software development world, usually there is like a principle that called dry principle, this drive principle is like basically don't repeat yourself, right? So it just kind of reduce the duplication of code and replace it to use like some kind of abstraction or maybe like a data normalization to reduce some kind of redundancy, basically, right? So I guess that's the theory for this one, for the page object pattern. So I guess some of you guys might know some of the people call this one as a page object model or something like that, right? Actually, it's kind of the same. But yeah, actually enough of the theory. I guess we can just try to jump into the real case, right? So actually, I already provide the case for this one. So this is the scenario that I provide. So there is like a test scenario to check whether the download button in the Julo's blog page is direct the customer or maybe the user to Julo app at Play Store or not, the Google Play or not, right? So there are like 4 steps that we have. It's open to julo.co.id, click the blog, click download, and check if the page of the Julo's Play Store is there or not, right? So actually, I will show you guys the manual test for this one. So I will just try to stop the presentation here and try to open the browser here. So this is the browser, right? So we can just try to new tab here. So the step is open julo.co.id, click blog, downloads, and check the page, right? Yeah, so we can just try to julo.co.id, type the URL. All right, we directed into the homepage. There is blog button. We can just try to click this one. All right, this is the blog page. And the third step is we need to click the download button and check whether this one is the Julo Play Store or not. So apparently it's yes, right? So yeah, this is a Julo Credit Digital and Pinjaman. And yeah, I think then the test scenario should be passed, right? So we don't have any kind of issue. And so I think we can just try to move to the next step, which is I'm going to show you guys the version of the automate. So I'm going to show you guys the automated version of the test, the manual test. You can still see my screen, right? Yeah. I think you guys can still see my screen. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the one that I already create. This is the code. So this is the project. This is the test uh, file. I'm using PyTest for this one. So this is the one that I just created. So it has the contents of the step, the like open the julo.co.id and then try to check whether the homepage is open or not. And there is like click navbar block button, and yeah, there is like a find the element and try to click that one and check whether the blog page is open or not. Click the download button, something like that. Yeah, this one should be kind of the same. And the last one is the last step is to check whether the Zero Play Store page is open and check the app title, right? If the app title is not Julo Credit Digital and Pinjaman, probably it should be not pass, right? So this is the basic code basically. This, so actually we can just try to run this one. If you guys kind of curious. So actually we using PyTest for this one. So to run it, just type PyTest, and it should be in the test folder, and just try to run this one. Right? Actually, it runs on the background. All right. I think you guys can still eat this stuff, right? All right. So it says that it passed. Actually, yeah, it passed, right? It only has one test case actually, just to check whether the app title is correct or not. Basically, that's the case. So it's 100%, something like that. It's passed. But actually, if we try to take a look at the code here, there are like several stuff that we want to mention actually. So some of you guys probably already realize this kind of stuff actually kind of hard to read, and also it has a lot of lines of code, right? We need to like take a look at one by one. Actually, if you want to make an adjustment, like example, like if there is like example an element change on download button example. Sorry, there is ondel-ondel outside, please forgive me. So example like download button. we just try to search. All right, this is the download. So this is the expect for the download. So probably you need to change this one, right? Should be. And good thing this one has a one test case. And what happens if there is like two test case that use the same button, or maybe like three test case, or maybe four test case, or maybe in the real case probably there is like a 10 or maybe 20 test case to check whether the button is can be clickable or not, basically something like that, right? And if you want to try to change that kind of stuff, probably you need to change it one by one, and it's quite pain in the. I mean, it's a lot of effort, basically, right? So it's not a good way to write the code, something like this. So here, now we can just try to move to the next slide here. All right. So this is the points, basically. The problem with the version one. So we can call the code that we just saw as a version one. Yeah. So this version one actually has some kind of issues actually. It has too many lines of code, like I said previously. I think it consists like 95 lines of code, and it's only one test case, right? It's quite not really that good. And it takes time to read and understand. And yeah, for a new guy, or maybe like a new people wants to try to add a new test case, they probably need to like take a look at one by one to see what this code does, something like that, right? And probably it also will hard to maintain if there is like any changes, like I said. Good thing this one has a one test case, right? So if we just change uh, that one should be implemented for the all of the test case. But what happened if there is like 10, like I said, or maybe like 100 of test cases? Probably the people need to change one by one, and yeah, it's a lot of effort and time. That is basically right. And how to solve this kind of problem? Actually, we can just try to implement the page object pattern, guys. So this is the second thing that I want to show you guys. We're going to solve the version one with the page object. So actually, I will just do the demonstration for this one. All right. Uh, we will go back to the code here. So here in this project, actually, I already create a lib folder here. So we can just put all of the page object that we want to put, and if you want to like some kind of utilization, if you want to. But for now, I just put pages. All right. So previously I already create this kind of folder. So what I'm going to put inside of the page folder, actually, it's a file that consists the UI, or maybe like the action that relates to the each of the pages, or maybe each of the UI. Example, on the previous test scenario, um, we saw there are like three pages, right? The home page, that's the first. The second one is the blog page, and the third one is the uh, Play Store page, right? So we can just try to create for each of the pages to separate file. Example like this. This is the home page, the landing home page, and this one is the landing blog page, and this one is for the Play Store page. I already create some kind of draft to put the class. So yeah, to make it faster actually. So yeah, actually the one we're going to do, the first thing that we're going to do is, I think we need to copy all of the imports that we need to use, right? Example, like for this one, this is the action for waiting when the element is open or not, right? So we need to have this kind of wait, have this kind of logger. Actually, it came from this import logging and also this kind of stuff, right? So actually, we can just try to copy this one and try to paste it for to each of the file here. So something like this. Oops, sorry. And go to the next file. All right. Go to the next file again. Something like this. All right. So this one actually still have some kind of duplication of code, but we will take a look at that one later. For now, we can just try to continue for the stuff. And now the one that we're going to do is, so uh, for the first case, for the first step, actually, this is to check whether the home page is open or not, right? So this one should be involved around the home page. So we need to put this one on the landing home page then. So we can just try to copy this. Try to put it inside of this, like this. And then for this one, we need to create a method, right? So we can call this one something like this. This is the check homepage is open or not. And as you can see, we need to define the logger and also wait also, because the logger should be gains from this one, and we need to set up. And also the wait also comes from the driver wait, and also we need to set up that one also. Then I think those kind of setup, actually we can just put it on init function init like this, and just put it like this also, right? This one should be done for now. And the one that we're going to do is we need to pass the driver also, because without the driver, uh, we cannot navigate the UI through the browser, right? So we need to pass the driver to the to the to the class basically. So the one that we're going to do is how to pass the driver. We can just try to put a new parameter inside of the init, something like this, and try to define it inside of the init, something like this. Self.driver equal to driver, and also for the logger and wait, it needs to be at self dot also, something like this, right? Put it also like this, and this one should be done for now. And how do we call the object there? Actually, we need to there is a way to call that one by creating a file called init.py, and inside of this we can just try to create a function that returns the class of the homepage, this one, like this. This is the example. All right. So this is the name of the function that import from the landing homepage file and import the class. And don't forget, yeah, it will return the class also, right? And don't forget, we are going to pass the driver, right? So we're going to create a parameter on the function like this, and put uh, put the parameter inside of the class also like this. All right, this one should be done. Now we're going to import first on the test file. Oh, sorry, my bad. Something like this. Put it. All right. Uh, we already imported one, and actually we can just try to call it inside of the test here. This is the function, and we need to pass the driver, something like this. And this function actually will return a class, right? Something like. So we can call the class something like this. So this is our landing homepage object, and inside of the landing homepage object, it has this method, check homepage is open or not, right? So we can just try to put it like this, landing homepage dot check homepage is open or not. All right, so this one should be done. We can just try to save this one, and we can actually just try to run this one for now, just to make sure whether the code is working or not, right? We can just try to do it one by one. Oh, actually it runs at, I hope you guys can see this. Yeah, so it passed, right? It passed. So means that our refactor is kind of done for the first step. And now we are going to move the second step, which is it's a click navbar block button to the respective page, which is this one. It should be included in the homepage, right? Because this one should be involved around the homepage. So you can just try to copy this one also and try to do this kind of stuff. Copy and go to the landing homepage.py and try to create new method. Oops, sorry. Paste this one. Create new method like this example. And don't forget, we need to mention that the logger, the wait, and also the driver, we need to put self, something like this. And yeah, this one should be done. All right, so this is the methods inside of the class of landing homepage. And then how to call this one, how to call the second method. Actually it's also kind of the same with the previous one. You can just try to call the object again, something like this. And what is the method? The method should be this one. All right, this one should be done. You can just try to save this and try to run again. You can just try to run it one by one, so you can have a clear picture for this one. Actually, I run not headless. So actually we can have a clear picture for this one also. All right, so it's passed. The second step, we already move it into the object called homepage here. This is we already done about this. And now what is the next step that we need to do? So the next step is this one actually. This one is the blog page. This one should involve around the blog page, right? Because this one is wait until the blog page is open and also click the navbar download button. This one should be inside of the blog page also. So yeah, we going to do the same thing like the previous one from the blog page. Actually, we can just try to copy this one first, right? This is the first block. This is the block for the block of the step. Just try to copy this. Control Y, and then go to the blog page, paste that one, try to create a method for this one, example like this, and check blog page is open, and don't forget to define the logger and also wait inside of the init. All right, and since we need the driver also, we need to pass it, right? Something like this also, and set the logger wait and wait. Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, all right, okay. So yeah, so we can just set the stuff something like this, and this one should be done. And since we already put all of the stuff into the new object here, so we need to define again inside of the init.py. We need to create a new function, something like get landing block page example, right? Do it like this. All right, so it will get from this file, import the class name, and this is will return the whole class. And because we're going to put the driver also, just put the driver inside of the parameter, and we're going to pass it into the class, and it should be done. All right, so the next step is we need to add more import. So the currently that we have actually is just get landing homepage, right? So we can just try to add a new one, something like this. All right, homepage, get landing. So this one is the homepage, this one is the blog page. And now we can just try to call the function inside of this one. All right, get landing blog page. We're going to pass the driver also, and this function will return a class also, something like this. And inside of this class, it has this method. You can just try to call it again once more. All right, so basically it's sorry, my bad. Right, it's basically it's like this. Okay, just try to run it again. Up, should be works, right? Yeah, it works, yay. All right, so we already moved the next step now. Yeah, and we're going to do the other stuff also, like this one. This is the block of click download button. Okay, just try to copy that one also, try to move it inside of the this one, just like this, and create a method for this one, this, and set the self also. Right, this one should be done also, right? And we're going to put it inside, and now we can just try to call the method here by call the class, this one, and the method should be I forgot it. Click download button, right? Okay, now we can just try to run it again. So basically the one that I did is just like doing a refactor of the codes, basically. Just copy paste the one that we need to the respective page or respective file, basically. So yeah, right. So the blog page is done. Now the last thing that we're going to need to move is the Play Store cases. I mean the step. I mean So this is the block of to check whether the Play Store is open or not. This is the last block of the code to check whether the app title is Zero Credit Digital and Pinjaman. So yes, we can just try to move the stuff for this one. This one first. Oops, my bad. Okay, and we already moved that one. Then we go to the Play Store page.py. We paste the method here. Sorry, the step here. All right, and now we can create a method for this one like this. Need to define the logger and wait also inside of the init, something like this. And we're going to pass the driver also. All right, something like this. This one and this one should be done for now. All right. Since we already put all of the stuff in new class, that means that we need to define it again in the init.py. So we will get the Play Store page, something like this, right? Don't forget to pass the driver also, and this one should be done. All right, save this. And since we create new function inside of the init, then we need to import it first. The import should be in this one under the block page. Oh, sorry. Actually, I defined it first. Define like that. All right. Okay, this one. I import it. I already import, and I already kind of put the Play Store page, and this is the function anyway. So it will return a class also. Inside of this class, it has this method. The check Julo Play Store is open. All right. All right. Save. Now we can just try to run it again. We run it one by one. All right, success. Now, the last thing that we need to move is this one, this block of line of code. This is to check whether the app title is the Zero Credit Pinjaman or not. Just do this. Oh, sorry, my bad. Did I miss? Oh, no. Right, copy that one. Put it inside of this file here, and create the method for this one. Check Zero title example. Put it like this. All right, should be done. And now we can just call it again in this file. Oh, sorry. All right, that's all. Now we can just try to run this one for the last time. All right, okay, it's done. Yeah, that's all. That's the stuff. But actually, this one is not the end of the product actually, because as you can see, there are like several stuff that actually like this. We still have some kind of duplication of code. We still kind of define for each of the logger inside of the file. And yeah, actually for the end product, actually I already created also. It should be on not in this branch. We can just try to move to my branch, to the master branch. Sorry, my bad. Oh, sorry, my bad. I guess we can just try to rename the file first. All right. So check master. All right. So this is the end product basically. So as you can see, there are like several. So wait, let me just try to minimize this one also, and try to. All right. So I have like two test cases previously, and this is the case that we just did previously. It has some kind of it should be kind of the same, right? To click the number block button and check the block page is open or not, something like that. And yeah, and also it has some kind of assertion. And if you can see for the end product, actually example like this, check block click download button. it should be around the blog page, right? This is, oh, not this one, sorry, my bad. Let's try to close this one first. All right, so this download blog button should be this file, get from the init. All right, should be this instead of the blog page. All right, the download button, download button, download button, download button. All right, got it. So this is the example. So it has some kind of object also to have some kind of, to put all of the locators inside of the object here. So we can just try to make it easy to change and also to make it easy to see. So example like this one, you can just see this one, it's on the locators. All right, so this is the previous video that I just did. So in this class, actually it has like some kind of attribute like navbar, download, and source field. And if there is kind of changes, if there is some kind of changes, you can just try to change. Like example, the developer changed the elements of the download button. Actually, you can just try to change this one. Example, the ID changed into like download. All right, like this, and then you can just start to save and try to run the test again, and it should applies to all of the cases that use the same attribute, like this. Example like the previous cases like this. There is check homepage. So it's kind of reduced the code duplication here. So you can just try to reuse all of the stuff that you already built previously and try to put it on your cases or on your test cases basically. So I think that's all. That's the demonstration. So this is the version 2 that I want to show you guys. Yeah, this is the version 2, and we can just try to move back into the slide again. Yeah, I already show you guys the version 2, right? And then the version 3 actually is just like if the developer try to change the elements, or maybe if you want to add new cases, just do the stuff like that, and you should be fine basically. And that's the stuff. All right, now we can just try to move to the next slide. All right, so basically that's all. That's the stuff that I want to show you guys, and we finally reached to the conclusion. So basically the one that we just did, we just create another layer actually to communicate between the target of the UI and also the flow of test itself. So yeah, this kind of layer actually you can try to adjust it with your project also. Example, like if you have like hundred of pages or maybe hundred of cases, you can just try to adjust the page object so it can be reusable, it can be more easy to read, something like that. So yeah, and this kind of object pattern, actually it's only like a pattern, right? It's just like a pattern. So actually it can be implemented not only for the UI automation actually, because it's just like a pattern, not just like a concept. So in Julo, actually we also implement this kind of pattern to do an integration test to interact with the API example. So we call it like API object. It's not the page object, but it's an API object. So the left one is the some kind of the diagram, and the right one actually is the the, the example of the code. So example, this one, get the object of the API for version 5, and then this is the object of the customer. And from the API object, we can call the method of the doing a register basically. It's just like a call an API to do register using this data basically. And from the call, it will return a class also, and the class, it has some kind of method to assert success. Example, like to check whether the API return 200 or something like that, right? Or maybe 201 example. And from that one, actually we can also get the token, and also we set the token to the object. so it can be used again to hit the other API example, like to get the application example. So this is the implementation example in Joule. And actually, not only API, it can be implemented also in DB, to interact with the DB actually. So this is the example, like actually we call it like a DB object. So we can just try to call the class here. It will get the DB object, and inside of the DB object, there is a method for this one. Insert the navlog, something like that, with the customer ID and also the application ID. And yeah, that's all. It's just like a pattern. It can be used in anywhere, I guess, if you have things to do. Um, and yeah, I think that's all. And the benefit of the page object pattern, actually, it will improve your test automation. And I think we wrote for things. So the benefit is the test suite can be maintained easily if there is any changes, right? As example, like the previous example, I try to change, like if there is like changes in the element or something like that. And the second one is the reduce the repetition. If you have like hundred of cases and you want to click the download button, you can just try to use the same method, right? And it's easy to read and write the test. So yeah, basically like that. And also, since it's easy to write, definitely it will also reach the consistency when people try to add a new test cases, basically. So that's all. That's the stuff that I want to show you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys learn something new. And yeah, I hope you guys will create more page object, create more libraries of the interface abstraction, and create more automated tests. And this one definitely going to help you guys on the development process, on the testing process, or on the deployment process. So yeah, that's all. Thank you guys. And if you guys want to learn more about this kind of stuff, you can just start to talk me, or if you want to, you can just try to join Julo. And yeah, actually, you can just also visit our booth and chat with us. And if you're kind of curious, you can also try to take our tests. There's the link. You can just try to take a look at that one. And yeah, that's all. And I think we can just move to the Q&A section. This is the GitHub link for this session. You can just try to take a look at the project. If you kind of want to see what the end of the product is, you can also, yeah, you can take a look at the link there. Let's open that, and should be in master branch. And you have some kind of suggestion, comments, or if you want to edit, add more stuff in in this repository, then feel free. I will take a look at that one. So yeah, I guess that's all. This is the Q&A question. Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Mas Rayhan, for the very insightful talk today. And then we have several questions that comes up while you are presenting today. The question is from Mr. Chiptoning Hestomo. Let me read it for you. From Mr. Chiptoning Hestomo, he asked that, do we need to use Selenium for this kind of test, or can we use another alternative? You can
Okay,
just directly answer it.
Okay, so actually there are like several options to do an automated test, right? So one of them is Selenium, or maybe the other stuff. I think you guys know about kind of Catalan or something like that, right? So actually it's not really it's not kind of decided you need to use a Selenium. Actually, you need to actually this kind of Selenium can integrate with the other stuff also. So this one is kind of, for me, it's kind of more easier to adjust or something like that. And if your project actually cannot use this kind of Selenium, you can see the other stuff also, the other tools also. Actually, I think if you try to take a look at Google, there are like several options for that one. So for me, actually, for Selenium, this one is much easier to adjust, basically. So yeah, it depends on your project basically. So and
Okay.
also the usefulness, because sometimes if you just want to make it fast, I guess there's an option to kind of record or maybe try to uh, record and play, right? Yeah, something like that. So I guess Decathlon might be a best choice or something like that. So yeah, I guess that's all.
Okay, thank you for answering the question, Mas Rayhan.
All
And
right.
now we are in the closing of the talk today. I would like to say very much thank you for you, Mr. Rayhan, for bringing and making this talk become very insightful. And I hope the best for you all in the future. Okay, thank you
Yes.
for all the participants and all the best for you. Thank you and see you in the next session. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Bye bye, guys.